you are working on this, music players or something which does not have a tangible impact? And why would you not work on something where it is impactful, impactful for the, people on the ground, right?
Hello viewers, I'm Lasya from eCell Editorial and Research. Welcome to Inside the Startup Dream, where we bring to you the story of how a dream becomes a reality. Today we have with us Mr. Venkat Rajaraman, founder of Cygni. Good evening, sir. How was your day?
Good evening, Lasya. Doing good.
Nice. We are really happy to have you here, and thank you so much for being a part of our initiative in spite of your busy schedule. I would like to start with the most basic but important question. What inspired you to pursue entrepreneurship in this particular field?
I'm a semiconductor engineer, right? So I've been sort of working on VLSI design, semiconductors, microprocessors for quite some time. My last job before this entrepreneurship was, where we were building a semiconductor chip for Apple ipod, right? Apple ipod, maybe you guys must have outgrown that because that had happened maybe about 15 years back. So, we built the chip that went into Apple iPod. The name of the company is called Portal Player. I was shuttling between US and India, right? Because the Portal Player was in a company based out of Bay Area, and the engineering team was based out of Hyderabad. So we were shuttling between Hyderabad and US. In one of the US trip, right, I remember, we were at the airport. These two boys who were trying to work with the iPod, imagine that, during the iPod time. And I was trying to tell them saying that, hey, I can give you some of this, hidden features of this iPod, right? Whether it is, shuffle play, now shuffle and all is so common in the music player, but when the iPod was first, it came out, it was not that common. So their grandfather was basically observing all the things that I was trying to do with these two boys, and he was saying that, hey, listen, you guys have done so much, you are working on semiconductor, you are doing so many things, but why are you not doing something which is really useful for the society, right? Like powering livelihoods or eliminating poverty, or working on sanitation or working on education and so on and so forth. So that was like a slap in the face for somebody, like me, when we were shuttling between. So, that was when the seed of entrepreneurship got sown, in the sense that, hey, listen, whatever that I'll do, we will do with, with the sustainability in mind, with renewable energy in mind. And that's how Cygni got started last year.
What do you think is the impact of the right mentorship and the right people backing you for the success of a company?
It's very important. As they say, there is a very popular saying that when the student is ready, right, the teacher appears, right? So mentorship is also very similar. I think, we need to seek out to mentorship, right? So today, the mentors generally don't come and say that, hey, listen, I'm going to mentor you. That generally does not happen. And there is a significant difference between, a mentorship and a coach, right? Today, a mentor is somebody who, shares his knowledge, shares his perspective, and he basically gives you his perspective of how things are done from his side, right? But the difference between a mentor and a coach is somebody who, coaches you in terms of how you would want to do that. He would basically look at you from various directions, and he would basically be genuinely curious about how you go about doing stuff. And he would basically work on your problem and then suggest some saying that it would be good that if you do it this way, and if you could do it that way. So among all these kind of things, you have these various roles one can play, right? A role of a mentor, a role of a coach, a role of a sponsor as well, right? A good manager could be a good sponsor as well, saying that, hey, listen, I need to get this job done. I am going to, assign you to this responsibility. That is also in a way sponsorship, actually, right? And of course, there is a role of a simple commentator as well, saying that, hey, I am observing you and I'm just commenting in terms of your role. But the role of a mentor and role of a coach is extremely critical. And in both the cases, I think when the student is ready, the mentor appears, is what I believe in last year.
How do you think we can reduce imports from China and make India self-reliant?
Whether we like it or not, do not have a lot of lithium ion mining. We do not have that resources in India, right? So this is a very well known fact last year, right? And there is also a lot of geopolitics that happens in the lithium ion itself, right? So today, if you look at it, what do you need for a lithium ion battery? You need materials such as nickel, right? You need materials such as cobalt. You need lithium itself, right? And so if you look at it, lithium itself is predominantly available, in some part of Australia and some part of Latin America, right? What is called as a lithium triangle, right? So similarly, if you look at cobalt, bulk of cobalt is just in one country, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo. And nickel, predominantly they are all, in Ukraine, in a lot of Eastern European countries. So today, there is a lot of geopolitics going on, who owns what mines and so on and so forth. India, unfortunately, do not have these mines within India, right? To the extent that what we need. So this is clearly an issue in terms of, while we want to be self-reliant, we need to be cognizant of the fact that, we do not have this, material, we are not sort of blessed with that. But at the same time, if you were to look at India as an opportunity for this lithium-ion batteries is huge, right? Because India is moving towards, there is an electric vehicle revolution which is underway, right? Whether, this is already on the way, right? Already there is a clear penetration of electric vehicle is happening. Similarly, there is an application of lithium-ion batteries in several forms, including, rooftop solar, distributed rooftop solar, including, renewable integration, data centers, and so on and so forth. And India opportunity itself is a huge opportunity, almost about 80 gigawatt hour at a conservative estimate by 2030. And in an optimistic scenario, this can actually double, almost to about 150, 160 gigawatt hour. So now you take a look at it. On one hand, we do not have all the minerals which are required for lithium-ion manufacturing. On the other hand, we have a huge domestic opportunity, right? How do you sort of now bridge the gap, right? So that's going to be an extremely important one. The critical one for that is going to be what is called as urban mining, right? Today, we do not have this, this raw material with us. India has what, billions of cell phones, tens of millions of, laptops and electronic gadgets. Now it is shown that you can actually extract all of this, materials through this, recycling mechanism, right? You can extract, lithium, you can extract cobalt, manganese, nickel, graphite, all of them which are required for the lithium-ion battery. And it is also shown that you can extract more than 90% of the material, and that can be done with zero effluent treatment, right? So you really, can be, you can do a very clean and green recycling. And this opportunity, India, for India itself is about 80 gigawatt hour by 2030. So the point is, India could be the urban mining capital of the world, right? So there are three things that I wanted to say here. One, we do not have this abundance of the material, in India. And the opportunity itself is huge in terms of this lithium-ion battery. And we have an opportunity to become an urban mining, leader of the world last year. So, that's how I would see India becoming self-reliant on this lithium-ion batteries. Actually.
What is the most memorable part of your journey till now?
See, I was telling you this incident that had happened at the airport, where saying that, all the smart guys, why are you working on this, music players or something which does not have a tangible impact? And why would you not work on something where it is impactful, impactful for the, people on the ground, right? For the, this. So that's how, the Cygni's journey had come about. And the other thing is, the key thing for us is, we always believed that, when we were doing this, see, a lot of companies are doing with, there are shareholders, there is there is a top line, there is a bottom line that is, given for, any private limited company that you would find anywhere in the world. But we started where we said that, hey, listen, our number one objective is going to be, we would like to make, real difference in people's life with our products and solution, right? So whatever that we would do that where there is going to, make a real difference in the, the life of the people, right? Predominantly, we were focusing on India, South Asia, Africa, and so on and so forth. Similarly, the other objective we had was, hey, listen, we will do whatever where we would give as many employment and growth opportunity to as many people as possible, right? Because India is a country of abundance, right? It's very important to sort of take a look at it. And the third aspect for us was to do whatever business that we do, we'll do it ethically. And the fourth most important thing which ties all of them together is the, we would like to do the business that does not harm the environment, right? Whether it is, that was one of the key factors, when we started Cygni. And the last but not the least is whatever that we do, we would like to give it back to the society in some which way, right? Society, within our neighborhood, within our, city, within our state, and within our country, and so on and so forth. This is how the objective with which, Cygni was founded last year, right? So pretty much the rest of the ones were all, happenstance, as you say, but the entire journey itself has been, extremely memorable. I would clearly feel that, we have sort of had a, a great time so far in going through, as they say, the joy is in the journey, right? Outcome could be anything, but the joy is in the journey. Of course, we had been extremely, sort of happy and, very humble when we got to this IET India Mobility Award, right? IET is the, the Oscar for the electrical engineers, right? So that was one. And also we got the EV Battery Technology Award. Both of them had happened incidentally last year. So, in the process, I think we have had a lot of success, milestones, and so on and so forth. But those five underlying, principles, right, was the tenet with which Cygni was founded, actually. Yeah.
How did you first support your company financially, and has anything changed after that?
So, when this idea for Cygni came in, I think a lot of credit goes to Professor Ashok Junjunwala, Professor Bhaskar Ramamurthy at IIT Madras, without which Cygni would not have been founded. And of course, one thing that always happens is these days, a lot of entrepreneurs are saying that, I would moonlight, I would do my day job. I will try to do entrepreneurship, in the evening. I'll see if it comes out. They always have what is called as a plan B and so on and so forth. But I don't think I believed in that, So I think, entrepreneurship is all about giving your 100%. And you go all out and do it, right? There is nothing like a backdoor exit. There is nothing like a plan B. Of course, when Cygni was founded, there was no plan B, and I had to bootstrap the company, right? Until the time we had a proof of concept, until the time we had the product ready, we needed to, fund the company, right? I need to pay for the, for the folks who are there working at Cygni and so on. So initially we bootstrapped it. I had a home in Hyderabad which I had sold, and then invested that entire money in Cygni. And of course, the bootstrapping will have to be done in some which way, right? Not everybody is born with the silver spoon. In our case, also, whatever that I have, sort of earned, we flowed it back into Cygni initial stage. And if I were to look back, in the hindsight, everything is 2020, as they call it. I think that was the right decision that I had taken. Of course, Cygni in its journey had since then had raised our Series A funding of $6.4 million in 2018, and we had raised very recently about $12.5 million in 2022. But I think it all starts off with that one drop, as they call it. And the most important thing is your passionate belief that it is going to succeed, right? There is no sort of a turning back, and that's how it started off from that humble beginning last year.
Question is, do you think your journey would have been easier if you had been born in a rich family?
It's very difficult to speculate such things. If you had had, if you had had somebody to take care of your, for any startup, finance is a very important, this thing, right? So if your finance is taken care of for the first couple of years, then it gives you a lot of peace of mind. So I would imagine that, if you had that backing, that would have helped in a way. But the challenge is, I'm not sure whether you would have basically gone all out, right? So today, it's like your baseball, if right? You are on the 11th innings and you need to hit a home run or you are going to be out, right? So I think only when a human being is put in that condition, right, I would imagine that you would give your very best, right? So I think it's very difficult for me to speculate what would have happened otherwise, but it would have been nice if you had that, but there is I don't believe there is anything lost in the process as well, actually.
It's been reported that Cygni plans to invest in a greenfield manufacturing plant. How do you expect it to affect the landscape of energy storage industry?
We are essentially, I'll give you a sort of a, overview of this lithium ion itself, Lassia, and then talk about Cygni's plan. So today, this lithium ion, if you see the world gigafactories, okay, we have close to about 750 gigawatt hour, which are in production today. All over the world, but dominated by three countries, right? One, of course, China, and the other one is South Korea, and the third one is US, right? South Korea with LG Chem and so on and so forth, and China with big companies like CATL, BYD, and so on, and US, of course, with Teslas and the equivalent sort of gigafactories. And this number is going to quadruple, right? If you were to extrapolate by 2030, the expectation is that we would need about 2,500 gigawatt hour the world over, right? So you would need, in a way, 2,500 gigafactories last year, right? So, and predominantly they are going to be going for mobility, electric vehicles being one. There are also a lot of things are going to go towards renewable energy storage applications as well. So clearly the opportunity for storage, right, coupled with with renewable energy is a huge opportunity, actually, right? So given all of that, what we wanted to do was we wanted to basically set up this gigafactory because the India opportunity is also fairly big. So what we are now doing is we are setting up a 1.2 gigawatt hour. So if you were to see the numbers, right, this pales into sort of, it's a small number when compared to, overall all over the world. But we are setting up a 1.2 gigawatt hour facility. So this will cater to about close to about 500,000 EV batteries, on a yearly basis. And what we are planning to do is we are, I think setting up this lithium ion itself is a fairly involved one because you would need quite a bit of this machinery, and there is also a lot of technology which is, which is ongoing. Lithium ion is a constantly evolving technology. We plan to keep this, gigafactory in a way. All the machines and equipments would be portable, and all the machines and equipments will be with standard open protocol, so that we can have a scalability and compatibility with other equipments. And of course, we are also implementing with Industry 4.0 in terms of IIoT and in terms of scalability with a common software integration. So this is going to be a very challenging project, and we are super excited to do this because India is on the cusp of this EV revolution, and the companies which are going to do it are the ones which basically have both the technology and scalability, manufacturing operations together. And we believe Cygni is one such company which is able to traverse both of them well. And we are truly, sort of excited about this new Greenfield project last year.
What would you like to say to the young aspiring entrepreneurs watching this? What would your piece of advice be to them?
So last year, one, in terms of what is my sort of advice to people who are working, right? People who want to be successful in their career, right? I'll talk about it and then talk about for the entrepreneurs subsequently. Today, for example, if you were to see, the most important thing is, what do we sort of, in order to be successful in the career, one, I would imagine that, you need to have, anytime, if you're working for, company A or company B, always priority company first, your team second, and as an individual, you come third, in the order of priority. If you have to make any decision, keep the company first, right? So that's always going to give you in the, good stead in the long run. Number two, I also, especially for the, young folks out there, in the initial period of your career, right? Don't chase money, right? I have seen, umpteen number of examples where if you are good in the job that you are doing, money will chase you, right? Similarly, don't chase titles. Title will chase you, right? That is clearly, that's, I know I've seen in my career, and I sincerely believe that. Number three, in whatever job you do, as Steve Jobs says that, do as though that's your last job, right? Leave a legacy in whatever job you do, so that you make a mark, right? In that, in that role that you are giving. The last but not the least is always be a giver, right? You always contribute to, your colleagues, you contribute to the industry, contribute to the academia. The more and more you contribute, the more and more you will get back automatically, right? So if somebody were to do this, I'm very sure that will be a successful career, for somebody who is going to be doing that. Now, the question is, for an entrepreneur, what do you do, right? I think it's a very, I would imagine that, you cultivate the relationship, right? Today, I think what you guys are doing at ESL, at IIT Madras, it's very important to have this, relationship, because that's what is going to be very critical, especially in these kind of circumstances, because you would need help from all this thing. And you would also, be prepared for expecting the unexpected, right? So it's clearly, as an entrepreneur's journey, this is going to happen. More importantly, I would also basically see that you would want to, sort of pick your battle, as they call it, right? Don't try to sort of do all the things, because it's not possible to do. You basically pick your battle in terms of what you would like to do. I think that a very popular, the Eisenhower's decision matrix, as they call it, right? You split this thing into an urgent, not urgent on one axis, important, not important on another axis. And between the four quadrants, you decide whether, you want to delete it, which is not urgent, which is not important, you should not take it up. And delegate it. What is urgent, what is not important, delegate it. Whatever that is urgent and important, entrepreneurs need to do that. And what is not urgent but important, decide to do that, schedule a time to do that. So this time management is going to be extremely critical, because that's going to be a very important part of any entrepreneur. And the other thing is also, making sure that you have a good sort of a, work-life balance. They call it as a, among your 24 hours that you have in a day, split between, they call it the 3F, 3H and 3S, right? You spend this 1 8 hour for, family, friends, faith, whatever that you believe in. 3H, where you want to do it for your health, hygiene, and hobby. And then, of course, the 3S is going to be for your, soul, service, smile, and so on and so forth. So when you are working for this 16 hours a day, it's very important to keep this balance, with the rest of the stuff, right? Otherwise, the burnout is very high, right? Especially when, a lot of new things can happen. And one most important thing is also, I believe that it has to be very important to learn new skills continuously, right? Because especially if you are an entrepreneur, you do not know several areas, right? Whether it is finance, whether it is service, whether it is business development, whether it is technology, whether it is legal. So it's very important to sort of keep your learn, and also be very data centric, right? Because, it's very important to sort of make your decisions based on data. I think Elon Musk calls that as a first principles thinking. I think if we do this, I would imagine that you would be sort of a well-rounded in that way, and then able to handle this well, Lassia, actually.
Thank you, sir. That was amazing. Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule. And we are now coming to an end of, and I'll see you guys later. What I'm aware of EVs in India is a lot of companies are working on it, but it's not really heading somewhere. And there are a few types going around. How do you think we can solve a problem like that?
Any new technology will have to go through this, adoption curve, right? So today India is in the early stage. Countries like China, in my opinion, are about 5 or 7 years ahead in terms of this, this whole thing, because they have started investing in electric vehicle, investing in lithium-ion giga factories and all, in early 2010s and so on and so forth. Whereas for us, it's last 3-4 years. The policy itself, which is the FAME 2 policy, initial impetus will have to come from the government policies and incentives, right? So India is only about about 2 to 2.5 to 3 years in this one. So, but if you look at the numbers, right? So we used to be about 150,000 electric vehicle in 2020. And if you look at 2021, this is threefold increase, right? Where we have done about 500,000, and cumulatively we have crossed the 1 million electric vehicle. If you look at any think tank, you talk to them in terms of the adoption, the number is between 6 million at a minimum in the next 5 to 7 years, to about close to about 15 to 20 million by 2030. So we are right at that age. So today, I would not say that the EV adoption I see that the EV adoption is here. And you would see that, this in the next couple of years, this, proliferating, the ICE, the traditional, the ICE engines would go away, would have to go away because, of energy security, because of, the rising cost of fuel, because of pollution, all of these reasons, we do not have very many choices from the transportation perspective, actually.